Well, thanks, Jabari, for being here. We're 10 games into the Spurs season. It's a sample size, so we can't really know exactly how the team will be looking at the end of the season. But right now, the Spurs 6-4. What's your evaluation of these first 10 games?
Well, you've seen some good and some bad. Obviously they have work to do specifically on the defensive end. I'm sure we'll get into that in a minute. By the way, I love the colors.
Yes, we're matching.
But, offensively is where this team probably will not have a problem. They can score the basketball. I mean, we've seen that already. So once they start to figure out things and the flow becomes better, the offense is only going to get better now that they got Derek White back in the fold. But defensively is where you're going to start to see, they're going to see the struggles, because you don't lose a Danny Green, you don't lose a Kawhi Leonard, you don't lose a Kyle Anderson who came into his own on the defensive end last year and expect to get better. And your best perimeter defender, DeJounte Murray, he's out for the season. So you don't get better in those departments. But I think Greg Popovich would at least like to see effort. Last game against the Miami Heat, there was no effort shown, and they paid the price because they came right back into the city and they had to practice the next day. So, but like I said, on the offensive end is where you're going to see a lot of good things happen. 10 games in, we see what DeMar DeRozan's doing. I mean, career high scoring, career high assists, career high and rebounds. He had 14 rebounds in the game against Miami. That was a career high for him. 3 double-doubles so far this season. Had 0 in Toronto. So you see that trade is paying off with the Spurs.
Okay, so you mentioned White made his return. He played 16 minutes. Yeah. He had 3 assists and 1 rebound. Obviously, he's warming up. We'll probably see more of him coming up. But how would you evaluate the point guard position, and how has Brent Forbes been doing?
Well, I like Brent Forbes. That's no secret. I made it known. In the story that I wrote on him on The Athletic, it was basically this is his time to shine. He's put in the work. He's prepared. Summer 2017 when he was out in Utah. So it's now his time, and I think he's played well. He played so well that Greg Popovich couldn't even pull him out of the starting lineup against the Miami Heat, though Derek White returned. They need Brent Forbes is shooting. The man is a beast. If you look at his shot chart, everywhere behind that arc on the three-point line, he's making shots. When a guy's making shots and he's shooting as well as he shoots, you can't take him off the floor. And even if you do, he still has to get significant playing time. I give Brent Forbes an A-, B+. Obviously, you're going to give up a little bit something on the defensive end, but offensively, he's been great. He's held his own. He's played within himself. And when you play within yourself, especially in this Greg Popovich system, I think that's a win-win altogether. So they got Derek White back. He's going to take a few games to get over the slumps and everything like that, because remember, he hasn't played 1 regular season game so far. But as he gets into the flow of things, I think you'll start to see the transition in him taking over, because he has the height and he can play better on the defensive end. But man, Brent Forbes, you cannot afford to not let this guy play. He has to play because he can shoot.
You did mention defense. That's something Pop always talks about. We saw it kind of coming along over their 4-game winning streak. It kind of dropped off their last 2 games with the Magic and then in Miami.
This is one of those ones you look back and say, man, they should have got that one. That will be the one. So you hope it doesn't come back to bite you. But it's just important to take care of your home court. You might lose one in Miami. Fine. You'll get them back, the other end. But you can't. You got to take care of your home court when it comes to inferior teams like the Orlando Magic. So I would look at it, even though the Spurs got beat worse in Miami, I would look at it and say that one against Orlando, I'm more disappointed in, because it was home.
Right.
Because, yeah, exactly. They're coming off that big win against the Pelicans, so your adrenaline's there. They should have won that one. Miami, you're fine. They made up for it. They practiced the next day. But the one against Orlando, that might bite them later on in the season.
Well, Jabari, thanks so much for being here, as always. We'll look forward to the rest of the season with your commentary on the Spurs.
Ancira Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram Trucks, #1 in San Antonio. Huge selection and always unbeatable prices.